County School District. Good evening. We are all here, the six of us. Katie Kelly is online, so good evening. We've called the meeting to order at 6:01 or 2, and let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Very much. Hey, Nancy and Raphael, would you like to split up and read the district mission, vision, and values, perhaps for the last time?
Our mission statement: educating each student to the highest standards while motivating them to reach their fullest potential, graduating them to be college, career, and life ready.
Our schools are a place where the children belong. Each student is known by name, strength, and need, and provided the education and opportunities to achieve success.
Our values: striving for equity, inclusion, and belonging. Celebrating diversity, engaging the community, supporting the whole child, promoting achieving and academic excellence.
Thank you very much. Do we have any public comment on agenda items? Renata? Okay, thank you. All right, then we will happily move to item 5, which is building student representative reports. And we're starting tonight with Colonel Wright Elementary.
They are not all here yet.
Okay, well we'll wait for them to come. And then Chenoweth Elementary does not have a report tonight, so maybe Dry Hollow will be ready. Are Irie and Mackenzie here? They're here. Woohoo! Hello, ladies.
Good evening, school board members. This is our last report of the school year. This year has gone by so fast. So many things have happened in the last month or so. Tonight, we'd like to tell you about some of those things. First, this has been a month of tests. Among those we've taken are
the iReady Fluency Test,
the iReady Reading Test,
the iReady Math Test,
the State ELA Reading Test,
the State Math Test,
the State Science Test,
our Teacher's Reading Goal Test,
our Teacher's Math Goal Test,
the District Local Performance Task in Writing,
the District Local Performance Task in Math Problem Solving,
the District Local Performance Task in Scientific Method,
and Speaking and Listening District Performance Task and Socratic Seminar, just to name a few.
If we sound a little testy tonight, maybe we are.
Besides all this testing, we've managed to work in a few fun activities as well. The Dry Hollow students were able to meet their goal of earning 1,500 RISE tickets this past month, and for that, they got the opportunity to spend a period doing some serious chalk art on the playground.
The 5th graders were entertained by the Dallas High School and the Dallas Middle School choir performance. They came and performed some great music for us. We appreciated it.
Speaking of great music, our kindergartners and 5th graders, led by our awesome music teacher, Mr. Taylor, performed in front of a packed house this past month with some cool songs. There were lots of individual singing parts, and the kids did well. Everyone enjoyed the performances.
And if that wasn't enough fun and entertainment, our Dry Hollow Drama Club presented 2 performances, one at Dry Hollow and the other at the Civic Auditorium, of their play Once Upon a Crime. It was lots of fun seeing our friends perform in the play that was written and directed by our own Mr. J.D. Fierce. Many others at Dry Hollow helped with the play as well. They did a great job.
On May 19th, the kindergartners held their kindergarten transition night. Things went well with that.
In late April, several student council members got to ride on the Dry Hollow float during the Cherry Festival. They had a lot of fun. The float was decorated to look like a Viking ship. Several teachers also walked beside the float during the parade. No one got run over by Mr. Ramsey, who was driving the float.
In early May, we had our Word of the Month assembly. Several awards were handed out to students for showing cooperation.
At our May Word of the Month assembly, the school honored Mrs. Judy Timmons. Mrs. Timmons has given countless hours of her weekend time to make our gardens at school beautiful. Not only has she pulled weeds, but she has also made and put up some very school-colored blue and yellow flags that adorn our front entryway and make the school a very colorful and welcoming place to be. In her spare time, Mrs. Timmons has also spent many hours working with her emergent readers and has been known to cook some tasty dinners for our staff when they have late-night conferences. We want her to know how much we appreciate her. Dry Hollow is very lucky to have a volunteer like her.
The fifth graders have several things to look forward to. Tomorrow, they'll have step-up day at TDMS. Then they'll return to Dry Hollow and listen to the bands of TDMS and TDHS. After lunch, they'll hold a state fair for those wanting to view it in the cafeteria and gym. This is where each fifth grader has chosen a state to make a trifold board of information on. They'll display their exhibits, answer questions about their states, and have some free giveaways. It's a blast.
We'll have the fifth grade Great Dry Hollow Egg Drop on June 3rd. We'll also have our fourth grade Wagons Hoe Day. We'll start heading to Oregon at 8:30 a.m. sharp, and the egg drop will take after lunch at or around 12:40. Ace True Value Hardware at the Sawyer family has graciously donated a lift for us to use to drop our egg containers from each year for the past decade. We want to truly thank this business for supporting our school with this donation.
The TDHS River Hawk Walk will be on June the 5th, starting at 8:15. Also, the 5th graders will take on the staff in a game of kickball in the upper field starting at 1:30. The staff have never beaten us. The staff have never been beat. That is, until this year.
We'll have an assembly with our end of the year slideshow on the 8th of June at 1:30. On the 9th, the 5th graders will be heading to Cirrhosis Park and then to the Aquatic Center or Natatorium for some fun. That night, they'll have the first ever Dry Hollow promotion night. You're invited to come. On the 10th of June, the first graders will celebrate their end of the year with a picnic at Cirrhosis Park.
Finally, on Thursday, June 11th, there will be a field day for all the grades.
That's not everything that did or is going to happen, but that's most of it. Thanks for letting you bring all the Dry Hollow happenings this year, each month at the board meeting.
Before we go, we want to leave you with a lot of quick jokes. Are you ready?
Yes.
What did the janitor say on the last day of school? Finally, I can sweep this year under the rug.
Why did the lobster get an award on the last day of school? Because he was great at celebrating. Why did the student sit on a clock on the last day of school? The answer is because she wanted to be on time.
What subject do caterpillars miss the most over the summer? The answer is mathematics. And finally,
Why were the teachers so happy on the last day of school? Because they had no class. This has been Irie.
and Mackenzie, and for Gabe, who is in Texas now visiting the city he'll be moving to this summer.
Wishing you a happy summer. We'll see you all next year when we're 6th graders here at TDMS.
Awesome. Hey, ladies. Wait, hang on just a second, ladies. Yeah, I was going to ask, we need to clap for them because you've done a fantastic job this year. So, second, so good job. Thank you for preparing all of these reports. They're always so full of all of the activities you do, and congratulations on getting through all the testing. So that was an admirable list, and you've earned all your end-of-year activities. So go celebrate. Thank
and
you.
we have some invitations to pass out to you
Please
guys.
share them with us. Oh, it's fantastic. Who would like to follow that? Are the Colonel Wright kids here? All right. Come on up. I think that is Ernest, Eddie, and William. Some new faces, maybe. Hi. Go ahead.
Hello, we are next year's 5th grade student council officers, and we are excited for you to hear about what's been happening the last few months. We as the student council have a goal for next year. The goal is that students are excited to come to school. I am Ernest Vieira, this is William Moore, and that's Eddie Bush. Let's start with January.
In January, we had the snowshoeing trip. All the 4th graders went to Mount Hood and went snowshoeing. In February, Ramona Harwood, our music teacher, took all the 4th grade to Portland to see the symphony. We joined many other schools to see the orchestra perform.
In March, we started high dosage tutoring, and 5th grade finished science OSS, and that's all that happened in March. In April, we had the zoo trip for the 1st graders, and they were there to learn more about animals from realism and experience the real life feeling. The jogathon happened in April, which was organized by the PTO. We had lots of parent volunteers to help. A big thanks to the PTO for organizing that. Also, the kindergartners traveled to Camp Morrow, where they rode horses and went boating. We had multi-literacy night, and over 200 people showed up. We gave away free books, and we had several fun learning activities where they gave away prizes. It was fun.
May has been a busy month. There has been a lot of field trips. 1st grade went to the Discovery Center. They went there to learn about animals, habitats, and adaptations. I heard they had a lot of fun. We also celebrated Staff Appreciation Week. They appreciated getting appreciated. On May 5th, there was a Hispanic Heritage Celebration. That was coordinated by Miss Chance and Migrant Ed. There were other booths by community members, including the Migrant Ed. Later that week, OMSI came to CWE to teach kindergarteners. On the 13th and 14th, Miss Hallward took the 4th and 5th marimba players on a tour through town. 1st and 3rd graders got to join on the 14th. There were many people who helped and made this possible, including Miss Hallward, Paul, Dave, Brian, and Bibi. The Kiwanis Club helped with cost like they do every year. As you know, state testing ended in April, but we started already testing on May 18th. Later that week, the middle school and high school choirs came to our school and performed. They did a really good job. On the 21st, 4th graders, including us, went to Oregon City to visit the Oregon Trail Center. We made candles, learned from master gardeners, and about pioneers. This week, 5th grade went to the Warm Springs to learn about the experiences of Native Americans in the area and on the reservation. On a related topic, 5th grade went to the Discovery Center today and learned more about Native American history and how they thrived. They also learned about raptors. I actually just came from the Kinder Open House at CW. This is about letting preschoolers graduating to elementary school to learn about what the school is like. Tomorrow morning is 5th grade Flyer Day. 5th graders visit the middle school and learn about expectations for next year.
On June 1st, the 5th grade will have a field trip to Horse Thief Lake. They are learning about Native Americans there. On June 2nd, 3rd grade will have a field trip to the library. Also, the 5th grade will host a science fair from 5 to 7:30.
On June 4th, 3rd grade will have a showcase displaying their art and writing. Both 1st and 3rd grade will have a walking field trip to the library. On June 5th, 4th grade is doing the Oregon Trail Wagon Tow. They will drag their homemade wagons around the school, showcasing their creations to staff and students. The 4th and 5th graders will have a water relay. Thank you to the firefighting volunteers. On June 6th, the drama club will perform 3 plays at 11 a.m. Please come. All students worked very hard on the 3 plays. On June 9th, 5th grade will do a graduation walk. At 5:30 that day, the graduation ceremony will start. On June 10th, we will do movie day. The whole school will get to choose from 2 to 4 movies. On June 11th, the 5th graders will get to go to the outdoor pool. They will get pizza from Domino's. Also, it will be fly-up day and field day.
Thank you for allowing us to come and present. We look forward to seeing you guys next year. Please come to our school next year and see what's going on.
Thank you for coming out. And welcome to your new position at Student Council. I have one homework assignment for you guys because of all of the history you guys learned. The homework assignment is next year. Somebody might forget about it, but over the next year, learn who Colonel Wright was, and because he's related to Native American history.
You remember.
Yeah.
I already know.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you. Lots of fun field trips, you guys, and somebody rode a horse, I'm pretty sure, so that's awesome. Okay, let's follow that with, I think, the Dallas Middle School. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Thanks, parents, too, for bringing your children. Is Rolando and Aubrey here? I saw Rolando. Oh, that's not Aubrey. I don't think.
Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Bernal, school board, and community members. Here is what is happening at TDMS. All of our students are busy completing diagnostic testing in reading and math.
Last week, our 8th graders attended a resistance rally at Kramer Field that highlights the importance of mental health resources. There were raffle prizes, carnival-style games, and food provided.
Tomorrow, our school is preparing for the 5th grade fly-up day. We have 8th grade leaders who will lead our tours and answer questions in a Q&A style panel. Our choir will be performing also. The day is designed to introduce the incoming 5th graders to see the building layout, watch classes in progress, and to introduce and prepare the incoming 5th graders for upcoming fall at TDMS.
Our 8th graders will be spending the day at Camp Moro on Monday, June 8th. Also, our 8th graders are preparing for their upcoming promotion night on Wednesday, June 10th at 6:30 p.m. Numerous awards will be given out that night, and we look forward to sharing the celebration with family members.
Our 6th graders recently participated in the annual downtown tour. They spent the day learning about the various murals in the downtown area and enjoyed lunch off campus that day. They are also excited for their upcoming field trip to Portland to visit the zoo on Tuesday, June 9th.
Last weekend, TDMS hosted close to 500 students, staff, and family members at our annual carnival night. There were booths from local community partners, free games, food, and prizes. We also were excited to honor our ESP, Erica Carlo, with a surprise award. She was honored as Oregon's ESP of the Year. We were excited to see many of the board members and Superintendent Dr. Bernal is awarding her with this special recognition.
Thank you for listening to TDMS's updates.
Thank you, you guys. Thank you for presenting. I know you've come before, and appreciate. Are you 8th grade now? Oops, going to the high school. Well, I'm sure they'll be the same position at high school if you want to volunteer. Thanks, guys. Have a good summer. Okay, is Kit here from Innovations? No Kit tonight. Okay. And how about Amber from the high school? Amber.
Hello everyone. This month has flown by and students are looking forward to summer after a long trimester of hard work. Speaking of hard work, our spring sports have been amazing. Our boys tennis team and our track team made it to state. Boys tennis also won their districts but weren't able to place at state unfortunately. Track left today and we await their results in the next few days. Softball continues their season tomorrow at home to continue their streak in the playoffs. All league titles just came out and 10 Riverhawks were recognized in a big achievement by Syra Faulkner and Morgan Donovan for being announced Pitcher and Player of the Year in the Tri-Valley Conference. Our baseball team also had 4 all-league Tri-Valley selections. Evan Ortega first team, Gunnar Bustos, Cale Beardmore, and Hunter Bustos second team. On May 9th, we hosted a prom, which had the theme of Old Hollywood. The turnout was very good and we had superlatives for prom king and queen, as well as best dressed and best dancer announced at the end. ASB just elected their next officials for next school year and had their planning summit on Tuesday where they have started to plan major events for next school year. ASB is also handing out this year's yearbook in the following weeks. Our final end of the year assembly to wrap things up, the Hawk Scores will be on June 2nd and students are working extremely hard to recognize our students who have put in the hard work. There will also be 2 free cars given away to students with no cell phone violations. For seniors, graduation is 9 days away, which is only 4 school days. There are major events that have been planned and we look forward to the senior barbecue, the senior safe and sober party, and the baccalaureate, all put on by senior parents. At the end of last month, we also had the scholarship award ceremony and over $100,000 were donated to our seniors pursuing further education. This year has been full of fun, hard work, and spirit. It was a very successful year for TJHS. Thank you and have a good summer.
Awesome. Amber, is this your senior year? Yes. Amber, best wishes to you. Thank you for giving us these reports. I hope it was meaningful to you too.
It was.
We'll miss you. Where are you going? What's going to happen? Woohoo! Okay, that's awesome. And did you say that there was a car giveaway for? Yes. A car giveaway for folks that didn't have any? How many people are in the drawing, you suppose?
I don't know. I feel like a lot.
Great.
I don't know how many violations there are, but I think we've done pretty good, so.
That's wonderful. Okay, what a great incentive.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right, we have student representatives on the board, Nancy and Raphael, and it is your last meeting as well. So do you have any comments or want to share what your future holds?
I'll be headed off to Dartmouth College in New Hampshire.
I'm going to University of Portland.
So, okay.
Yes. As we wrap up the 2025 to 2026 school year at the Dells High School, the last few months have been full of exciting events, achievements, and important moments for students and staff. From academics and athletics to school spirit and community involvement, TDHS has stayed very active throughout April and May. Academically, students recently completed AP testing after endless preparation and studying. We also celebrated Teacher Appreciation Week and recognized the teachers and staff members who continue to support students every day. In April, TDHS hosted a scholarship night, where over $100,000 in scholarships was awarded to graduating seniors to support their future education and career goals. During the month of April, it was worth addressing when TDHS experienced a precautionary lockdown due to police activity in the surrounding area and the possible threat near the school. Out of caution, our schools entered a brief secure status while learning continued inside the building. The situation was resolved quickly and students were safely dismissed at their normal times. We want to emphasize and appreciate the quick response from the Dells City Police Department and thank students, staff, and families for remaining calm and cooperative throughout the situation. And way to go working well under difficult circumstances. Our school community has also focused on leadership and service this spring. The National Honor Society held its induction ceremony, welcoming new members who have shown excellence in academics while maintaining a 3.5 or above GPA. On May 12th, the Dells High School hosted a successful blood drive organized by students and staff. It was a great opportunity for students to give back to the community and help save lives. As May ends and the days proceed to fly by, Dr. Bernal granted us a visit High School and met with students to discuss concerns and ideas for improving the school environment. Many students appreciated having the chance to openly share their opinions, allowing themselves to feel heard and their experiences in order to help make the Dallas High School a better place for everyone. There have also been several exciting updates around campus. Summer SOAR registration officially opened for the incoming 6th through 12th grade students, giving students opportunities to stay involved and continue learning over the summer. Another exciting moment was the distribution of the 2026 to 2026 yearbooks, which arrived earlier than expected this year thanks to the hard work and organization of the yearbook staff. As graduation approaches, seniors have been especially busy. Graduation banners have been displayed around the school to celebrate the class of 2026, and students are preparing for graduation ceremonies and end-of-year events. Another new and exciting event was Hawkchella. The day of the Resilience Rally, THS found a way to continue the eagerness and bring students together to celebrate creativity and unity. And next week, we are holding our annual Hawkskers. The senior officers have been vetting together to get one more final get-together for the Riverhawks. This tradition allows us to celebrate and recognize some outstanding Riverhawks before the school year comes to a close. We'll be revealing the winner for the cars, and students were automatically eligible if they were given a no cell phone violations and if they maintained good attendance record. This encouraged students to stay engaged and maintain good behavior. Throughout April and May, THS has continued to show school pride, resilience, and community involvement. As the year comes to a close, we are proud of everything our students and staff have accomplished and look forward to another successful school year ahead. As the school year comes to an end, this will also be our last and final report serving as student representatives before graduation. It has truly been an honor to represent the students of TDHS and share the accomplishments, challenges, and memorable moments that make our school community so special. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be involved in these conversations and to help give students a voice. I know TDHS will continue to grow and succeed because of the amazing students, staff, and community that support our school every day. Go Riverhawks.
Thank you for the wonderful report, and good luck in your future studies. And get with me afterwards. I'll give you my number. I make a monthly trip out to New Hampshire in case you forgot something at home.
Too bad.
Thank you, Nancy and Raphael. And we'll look forward to replacements. It'll be interesting. Okay, staff reports. D21 Education Association. Kate, do you have a report?
No.
Okay, hey. Congratulations on completing the year, almost. And the Northwest Education Support Professionals, Sonia? Okay, thank you. Then moving on to our staff to give staff recognition to our retirees and Erica Carrillo.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, the TMS kids stole my thunder. Oh, where did they go? Okay. So I wanted to start this evening by just taking a moment to recognize, as our TDMS reps already alluded to recognize an extraordinary achievement by one of our own staff members, Erica Carrillo. Erica is a bilingual family liaison right here in the Dallas Middle School. Last week at the TMS Carnival, she was surprised with the honor of being named Oregon's 2026 Education Support Professional of the Year by ODE and the Oregon Lottery. So that's one winner for the entire state, and it was right here in this school. So this statewide recognition celebrates Erica's outstanding dedication to our students and our families through her leadership, her compassion, and her commitment to building strong school communities and connections. Her work has helped families navigate our complex school systems, access resources, and feel welcome and supported, and has made a lasting impact on both of our students and our district as a whole. In recognition of this achievement, Erica also received a $5,000 award from Oregon Lottery and a plaque, as well as the Dallas Middle School also received a commemorative plaque and banner, so hopefully that should be going up soon. And just please join me in one last round of applause as we celebrate Erica Carrillo.
Is Erica here?
Erica is not here tonight, and she would probably be mortified if she knew we were recognizing her again. And she declined to have words at the carnival, but she had a heartfelt, was very excited, and Who doesn't love a $5,000 check, right?
Yeah, that's a shopping spree. Good for her. She should spoil herself.
So next up, typically in May, we take a moment to honor our folks who are retiring out of our district. So up on our screen, you will see all of 11 individuals, which is actually not a lot. But these 11 individuals have a combined service of 191 years of dedication to our district. So on average, that comes out to 17 years of service each. Some are familiar faces and well known in our schools and our communities. Some of them may be sitting behind me. And others have served more quietly, whether it's behind a wheel, in an office, or in one of our kitchens. However, each has played an essential role in supporting our students. We just want to take a moment to extend our sincere gratitude for their commitment, their care, and steady presence over the years, and we wish them all the very best in the retirement. So please join me in one more round of applause for our retirants. Last but not least, and on a more somber note, I would like to take a moment to honor and acknowledge the loss of longtime teacher Phil Brady. Phil served as a deeply dedicated teacher in our district for nearly 2 decades before retiring in 2022. And I'm using the quotations because I'm not sure he ever did fully retire. In fact, I believe it was the next year he was right back in the classroom as a long-term substitute. Phil's passion for education and his commitment to our students was unwavering. He remained a constant, familiar face at our high school and a steady source of support and mentorship for both students and staff. Phil was a strong advocate for our youth, not only in our classrooms, but across our broader community. He was a steadfast supporter of school bond campaigns and consistently advocated for all of our students, with a deep commitment for supporting our Latino youth and our community, addressing houselessness, and expanding access to both healthcare and behavioral health services. He was a man who listened before he spoke and treated everyone, regardless of their background or opinion, with genuine respect. In a time when so much of public life can feel very divided, Phil's rare gift for uniting people was a true strength and a lasting legacy. Now, in that moment, I would like to just take a brief moment of silence in honor of Phil. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Stephanie. Our next item is item number 9, our community presentation from the CGCC dual credit students. Although the presenter is Dr. Lawson. You want to come up? Yeah.
Members of the board, sorry about that. Thanks for having me. Thanks for making space on your agenda to talk a little bit about our dual enrollment program at the college and in partnership with you all. I won't belabor this too much, but we updated our mission statement when I got here about 3 years ago, and we're really committed as a college to making sure that students have equitable access to higher education, that when they come to the college, they're going to be successful and get their credential or their degree. And then finally, the college is really invested in making sure we are advancing economic growth, inclusive prosperity, and a thriving community. And part of our dual enrollment program we see is pretty central to that because it builds an educational ecosystem so that our students come from preschool, the elementary schools, all the way up through the high schools and into the college and on. So we're pretty focused on that, and I do want to just give a quick shout out to Leanne Neal, who is the counselor at the Dallas High School, and she has invested some time with us. We are a part of 28 rural community colleges that are trying to improve our outcomes, and one of the ways we're doing that is strengthening our dual enrollment program. And she spent some time with us along with folks from Hood River and White Salmon and Maupin. So anyway, long story short, it was great to spend time with her and build relationships, and that's one of the things that we kind of have learned in our participation in that project is that if we want a strong dual enrollment program, we need to build our relationships and make sure that that we're communicating clearly and that our systems are good, and we can't do that without spending time with each other. So I want to acknowledge her part in that. And then I'm just going to give you all kind of a pretty high-level update in terms of where we are with our dual enrollment programs. So we have two main programs. One is College Now. That program involves high school students enrolling in classes here or at the high school, but getting college credit. Those classes are taught by high school faculty, but faculty at the high schools have worked closely with faculty from the college to make sure that the courses and the learning outcomes are meeting college level rigor, and the students are truly earning college level credit.
Dr. Lesson, are those the AP courses, or are they different altogether?
Those are different. So those are actual courses. I'll give you a couple of examples. Math, we're offering pre-calculus, calculus, principles of biology. We have, these are all from the Dallas High School, several writing courses, an economics course. So they're all college level courses with those titles, and they're getting the same credit that they would get if they took those courses up at the college. We've got I'm going to say we have a fairly decent infrastructure for that now. So we have 5 of the high school faculty that are qualified to teach those college level courses. We have 18 courses that have gone through a fairly rigorous process to make sure that they are meeting those college level standards. And there's a fair number of students that are actually accessing those. I've given you a one-pager on kind of some of the numbers there. We're fairly proud of the idea that 117 students from the previous year took some of those courses and earned over 10 credits on average is what they tend to earn, 20 credits before they leave high school, which is about 1/5 of an associate's degree. So that's a pretty decent savings, and also it's they're getting on a fast track to earn a college degree. So we're pretty proud of that, and proud of that, again, kind of providing equitable access to our students. The other main program that we have in dual enrollment is called Expanded Options, and we don't have nearly as many students participating in that. That is when students register and take college courses directly at the college. And those can be online courses, what have you, but they are signed up like a CGCC student, but they're earning both their high school credit as well as their college credit at the same time. We only have a little over a dozen students that are participating in that program. Still, I want to say that's a great way for students to get their college credit and actually get some college experience. I come from the state of Washington, where we have a very robust Running Start program, and I will just say from personal experience, my own son, he was not thriving at the high school, but put him on the college campus, and it kind of turned him around, and he did great in that program. So I would love to see that grow a little bit, given how small those numbers are. But I don't really care. What I want to see is students that want to have access to college level courses and can get a quick start and can save some pretty significant money on their way to a credential. All right, a couple of things that just really quickly that I wanted to mention in terms of where we have some room, and there are quite a few, I think, places where we have room to improve our program. The first is in building our articulations with our career and technical programs. Currently, only about 4% of the students that are earning College Now credits are actually doing that in a career and technical program. And if you're not aware, please come visit us. We have some first-rate career and technical programs in our advanced manufacturing, our electromechanical technology program, our aviation maintenance program. Those are wonderful options for students to earn a great wage and to get a job. So I do think we have work to do to promote those programs, even though we have 4 courses on the books that lead to 3 of those 4 programs. The other thing that's maybe worth mentioning, it's on the 1 or 2 pager, I guess, that I handed out to y'all, is that there's still some disparities in terms of who is accessing these dual enrollment programs in North Wasco. And unfortunately, we're behind the state of Oregon in terms of most of those categories, in terms of race, gender, so on. So I take seriously that these kind of programs can get students on a good pathway. It can save them money and get their life like you get that purpose early on, and you can do great things. But we need to make that available to everybody, to all of our students. So I think we have work there to do, and I don't want to see us lagging behind the rest of the state in terms of making sure our diverse students are being well served in our educational system. So takeaways there. We need to build some more better CTE pathways, and two, we need to make sure all of our students are aware of the opportunities that dual credit provides. I would be more than happy to answer any questions, and again, appreciate your time.
I have lots, but I'm going to start with the rest of the board members. I want to start with Jose because he looks like he's ready.
Just first, thank you. I've always appreciated the partnership that North Wasco's had with CGCC. It's just been tremendous to be able to have that relationship and the opportunities for the students that attend our district. Just one clarification on the one-pager. Under the bottom right, the College Now benefits, you reference 117, but it says HRVHS. I'm assuming that should have been TDHS, just a clerical error.
That is correct.
So that was, everything else was TDHS innovations. I'm like, one of these is not like the other.
The number is correct. Obviously, the abbreviation did not get updated. I've been making the rounds, Jose, so
I assume the
apologies for that.
No worries. And then the other question I had was related to the instructor side. And does CGCC cap the number of instructors, or is it just, obviously there's probably a set, requirement or whatever that an instructor would need to have to be able to teach those classes. I understand that, but I guess in a perfect world in my head, I'm like, well, shoot, if the entire staff was eligible to teach those classes, how much of a greater benefit that would be. So is there a cap, or how does that really work when it comes to the instructor
cap. They
side?
just need to meet the eligibility requirements. And typically that'll be a master's degree, particularly if we're talking about transfer area. It doesn't have to be if it's a professional technical program, but as long as they meet the eligibility requirements and are willing to work with our faculty and make sure that the course outcomes and the course itself meets college level, they would absolutely be eligible to teach for us, and we would love to see that number grow, absolutely. And we did have a few retirements, so throughout the gorge from some of the faculty that were pretty involved. So I know this doesn't show up on this on the handout I gave you, but we suffered some enrollment decline this year. It's not we don't have all our numbers in yet, but I'm aware of our trend there, and that has a lot to do with some of the retirements. So a lot as a kind of to underscore one of my points is like that. So much depends on those relationships that we have with our faculty and the faculty in our school districts.
Thank you. That's all I had.
Siobhan, do you have any comments? Thank you, Dave.
Good evening. At the community outreach team committee meeting that we were at, one of the things that you emphasized along with those relationships was good mentoring toward students and how important that was. And since then, one of the things I thought about was, is there like an awareness, where students are invited up to the campus on a coordinated day, just to get students up there to pump the program.
Yeah, and we need to do a little bit more there too in terms of building awareness. And we're making some investments in doing exactly that. So we have a new dual enrollment coordinator who I think is going to do a great job, add a little more capacity in terms of building awareness and building those relationships. And then we also we have just approved hiring a bilingual recruiter, which will be placed in the high schools. So again, able to help spread the word about what the opportunities are. In my mind too, we really need our faculty to reach out to faculty at the high schools, because I think that's a big part of it.
Kramer, do you have any comments? Okay. Hey, nice to meet you, Dr. Lawson. Welcome to the Dalles. I have a little history if you want to hear. So, when my daughters entered high school, started high school, I knew about the Washington Running Start program. but we didn't have it in Oregon. So I sat down John Dahlem, who was our state representative at the time. He was a former superintendent, by the way. And I said, John, why don't we have this? You need to take that and you need to carry that legislation. I think it was already in place, so at least he voted for it. And so then by the time my daughter was sophomore, junior, she was able to start the Oregon version of Running Start, the very early stages. I know Debbie Frere, and who's with us tonight also in the audience, we both had daughters that used the Running Start program, or the Oregon version. I don't even know what we called it at the time. But you talked also about ease of use, and more than once we were in the office with the staff at the high school, like, hey, you got to make this work. It's a scheduling situation. If they've got to go up to the college and down, but it looks like you're doing some education at the college. I recall that we bought our own textbooks. Do the students in these programs still buy their own textbooks?
It'll depend on the program, but they would be expected. Yeah, if there's a textbook.
That's okay.
Cost, I think they are.
Skin in the game. That's okay. And then I thought I know personally, but because my daughters used it, it probably saved us the 5th year of college. It's very common when you go to university that, you can't get a class and and you need more credits, and then you're there for 5 years, and what a wonderful economic boon that is for a university. However, it doesn't have to happen if you get all those, lower level credits. So, especially since they transfer so easily in Oregon ecosystem. I also heard you say that your son wasn't thriving in normal high school, and so you boosted him up to college, and so a lot of times kids who aren't thriving, we don't necessarily challenge them, we just move them over to innovation. So heads up, I'm the son of a college, I guess.
And we do work pretty closely with Innovations Academy, and they send a few students. There are only 2, I think, that were in expanded options.
That's great.
And I don't know what the number is for college now, if any.
That's great. That's great. And love to hear about the career and technical. You guys have good programs up there. So very nice to meet you. Thank you for coming and sharing about the program. It's good to see it's thriving.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. Enjoy the meeting.
Now we move on to item number 10, which is a consent agenda, which contains the minutes from the April 9th work session, where we went over data, and April 23rd regular board meetings, and the personnel report from April. Any questions about those documents or motions to approve?
No question, but there are a couple of corrections on the April 23rd meeting minutes, that is. So under the section of deliberate, there's a couple things, and that's the section where it captures our conversation after we interviewed the candidates that evening. So under my section on the first bullet point regarding O'Halloran, after that last comma in that last sentence, there's the word nothing, and it should be noting. And then in the third bullet point in that same section under when, that after the last comma, well, not the last comma, but where it says on board in 80s, from that point forward, it's redundant because that was mentioned earlier in that same sentence. And then as you move forward under the motion sections, under 6A, after the word and, there's the word count, and I think it should be can. And that was it. And I've got it redlined, Renata, if that makes it easier. But I just asked if those adjustments be made.
Any other comments about the minutes or the personnel report? I would take a motion to accept the consent agenda with the mentioned corrections.
Yeah, I'll move to accept the consent agenda with the revisions as stated for the April 23rd regular board meeting minutes.
We have a motion to accept the consent agenda with the corrections from the April 23rd board meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Consent agenda is approved. Moving on to number 11, new business. Discussion action items. Start with action item number 1. We will approve the nomination of Janelle Rose Jones for treasurer to the scholarship board. Jose, you are the presenter.
Yes, so part of the requirements within the board there for the scholarship committee is all the recommendations need to be approved by the board, and so thankfully Janelle Rose Jones has kind of raised her hand to be treasurer, and so we'd like to formally recommend her for that position and seek approval from the board.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the nomination of Janelle Rose Jones for treasurer to the scholarship board.
Do I have a second? Thank you. So all in favor of accepting the nomination of Janelle Rose Jones for treasurer to the scholarship board, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Are we getting Katie's votes on there? Can you see her? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, then moving on to item 2, presentation ID for LTCT programming. That would be CJ Toole or Dr. Bernal?
Actually, Mr. Toole can't be here tonight, so Dr. Ivy will be presenting this item.
Dr. Toole energy.
Yes.
Good evening, Director Heggie, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Bernal. I'm here this evening to seek board approval to partner with Nextdoor Incorporated, NDI, to establish a new long-term care and treatment, LTCT, education program to serve eligible students in grades 6 through 12. This program represents a second LTCT funding stream and will allow participating students to be served in a more targeted setting aligned to their needs. The district currently partners with Trillium to operate a K-5 LTCT program that's housed on the Watauga campus, and this proposed expansion extends LTCT services to grades 6 through 12, and a new partnership with NDI to support this program, thereby providing a more complete K-12 continuum of LTCT programming to better meet student needs across grade spans. This change does not alter existing student placement processes or reduce services currently provided within the district. Rather, it strengthens our ability to meet the needs of secondary students requiring intensive therapeutic and educational supports in an appropriate setting. Approval of this item authorizes the district to request a new institution ID from the Oregon Department of Education, enabling the program to report enrollment and claim average daily membership directly through the state school fund rather than through existing middle or high school institutions. Further, a separate institution ID allows the LTCT program to operate with clear accountability, accurate reporting, and proper alignment of funding with services as required by the Oregon Department of Education. Final program details, including facility location and formal partnership agreements, are currently in development and will be finalized prior to implementation. This action provides several key benefits for the district. It improves alignment between student needs and service delivery in a specialized LTCT setting, strengthens fiscal and reporting accuracy by ensuring ADM is attributed to the program actually serving students, and increases clarity and program accountability under a dedicated institution ID structure. It also supports more responsive program design for students requiring intensive therapeutic and educational supports while maintaining district oversight and compliance. The district will retain full educational accountability for the program, including student outcomes, compliance, and reporting, while partnering with NDI for program service delivery. So given these benefits, I ask that the board approves this partnership with NDI and authorizes Superintendent Dr. Bernal to request an institution ID from ODE. I'm glad to try to answer any questions with Director Hanson.
So I'm just here in case I've worked with this programming for a while, so in case there's any questions that Dr. Ivy can't answer, that's what I'm here for.
Great, and we have this description in our packet. Yeah, and we, I know others might, I know when we did agenda prep, David and I got our questions answered about this program and who it serves, and so if you guys have any questions about the long-term care and treatment, just fire away.
I have a question.
Thank you. Thank you for the fact sheet. It was very helpful. I'm just curious, it does say that the enrollment numbers will switch, but these students are being served outside the traditional setting. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Are you able to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so basically what will happen is rather than students attending, say, the Dallas Middle School, the Dallas High School, or Innovations Academy, they could be attending this particular program. So because we are in partnership with NDI, we will still receive the funding for those students. Accountability measures will still be under the district. The institution ID, however, the benefit of that is it allows us to track students that are in this particular program to see if the outcomes are positive. If we're not having the institution ID, then those students are wrapped up in accountability measures and student outcomes for the high school or the middle school. And so it doesn't really allow us to better understand if their needs are being met academically, based on attendance, all of those different factors. And so while numbers, say at the Dallas Middle School, for example, might lower if we have some students in this program, they're still going to be part of our district. And oftentimes with LTCT programs, it's not always like a permanent placement. So for example, oftentimes students who need additional support might be in the LTCT program for a limited amount of time. Once their needs are met, once they feel like they're more regulated, they might go back to the traditional setting. And so this partnership allows us to work really closely with NDI, as we've been doing with Trillium, so that we can really make sure that that transition support allows success both within the LTCT programs and within our general education settings.
To help with the folks that might be watching on YouTube, they might not have the packet, could you discuss the funding structure for this program?
What specifically are you wondering?
Well, like in this information packet says does this reduce funding for the district? So the answer is no, and that the change does not reduce overall district funding. It shifts where certain students are counted, so funding aligns with the program that is actually serving them.
Yeah, so essentially what this will do is this is a second funding stream. So LTCT programs with just new legislation are actually able to apply as part of our integrated application. And so this will increase the funding that we receive, but the funding will be funneled directly into the district. So it's actually added funds to support this program. So definitely no less funds, more funds, but very tight allowable expenses in terms of how those funds can be used. And so Director Toole and myself are actually working on that to make sure that there's really tight accountability, but it's actually an increase of funds, which is excellent to better serve students.
Perfect. And then the number of students expected, did you have?
I don't really know. I think that's going to be part of really working with NDI to figure out kind of what works for them. Typically in an LTCT program, the adult to student ratio is quite different than a typical classroom. Usually it's say 1 to 3, 1 to 4, and there are other kind of adults outside of the teacher. There's usually a skills trainer, somebody who's going to be doing a lot of like executive functioning work. And so my guess is the number will not be very large because the funding is really going to go towards those kind of wraparound therapeutic services that aren't going to be provided within that general education setting.
Our current K-5 program has anywhere from 6 to 8 students. There's a classroom teacher, there's 2 assistants, there's therapeutic services, there's a whole support team there, so it's a very different ratio.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Yeah, that explains the magnitude that I'm expecting that we'd see then, yeah.
So when we work with NDI to actually look at the program plan, we'll figure out what that ratio is at the secondary level to make sure that it meets the needs of the individual students. And that might change, right? I mean, there might be a student in the program that's going to need additional care, and so there's going to be a lot of flexibility in terms of the number of students based on those individual student needs.
Excellent, thank you.
Any other questions for Dr. Ivy? Okay, so we'll look for a motion to approve your new number.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve the establishment of the new long-term care treatment program as written.
Okay. With the ID. We're getting an ID, that's all we're doing. Institution ID.
Point of order, are you able to read the actual motion?
Yeah.
That way.
Yep, I'll read it. So
Thank you.
I make a motion to approve the establishment of the of a new long-term care and treatment program in partnership with Nextdoor Incorporated for grades 6 through 12, and authorize the superintendent or designee to request a new institution ID from the Oregon Department of Education for purposes of reporting enrollment and claiming average daily membership through the state fund.
Yay. Do I have a second for that motion? Thank you, Jose, that I will not read back. Okay. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Great. So Dr. Bernal can pursue your new institution ID. Thank you. And it's very exciting that this program can expand to 6 to 12 and the full continuum of grades is covered. Thank you very much. Okay. And Dr. Ivy gets to hang out at the table. The presentation next is curriculum adoption for the Great Body Shop K through 5 health curriculum.
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead and share with that.
All right, so I am here to talk about the elementary health curriculum. Thank you, Director Bowen, for passing out fun things to look at. I'm here this evening to share a recommendation from the TLA department regarding the adoption of the Great Body Shop as our K through 5 elementary health curriculum beginning in the 26-27 school year. Tonight I'm going to walk through a few things, the legal requirements that make health instruction necessary and required by the state, the pilot and feedback process, really centering teacher voice in whatever you are adopting. I want to talk through that with you, family and teacher input, transparency and opt-out procedures. I have Director Bowen here to talk about that a bit, and then our implementation plan moving forward. So tonight's presentation is organized really into 6 sections. First, I'm going to preview the legal requirements around health instruction in Oregon, and again, why curriculum adoption is necessary. I'll provide an overview of the Great Body Shop and explain why we piloted this curriculum. And then after that, we'll share teacher feedback from the pilot process, some family feedback, and then how we're planning to support transparency and family choice through preview opportunities and opt-out procedures. And then again, finally, we'll review the implementation timeline and conclude with our recommendation and proposed next steps. So one of the most important things to understand is that elementary health instruction is not optional for Oregon school districts. Under Oregon's Division 22 requirements, districts are required to provide standards-aligned health education as part of maintaining accreditation and compliance. State statutes also require instruction in areas such as personal safety, substance abuse prevention, mental and emotional health, hygiene, and disease prevention. Our responsibility as a district is to ensure students receive developmentally appropriate, standards-aligned instruction in these areas. And this adoption is about ensuring we are both meeting our legal obligations and ensuring that we meet the health and safety needs of our students. So the Great Body Shop is currently an Oregon Department of Education approved elementary health curriculum. Because it's already gone through the state vetting process for standards alignment and age appropriateness, it made sense to begin by piloting this program. An independent adoption process was always an option. However, that process would have required significantly more teacher time, multiple curriculum pilots, and extensive documentation. We wanted to be thoughtful about honoring teacher workload while still ensuring teachers had meaningful voice in the process. Importantly, teachers understood that if this curriculum did not meet their needs, we were prepared to move to an independent adoption process. But ultimately, participating teachers reached consensus recommending adoption. A bit about the Great Body Shop. The Great Body Shop is a comprehensive health education program. It has been used nationally for decades, and it's currently being used across many districts within our region and statewide. One of the strengths of this curriculum is that it provides sequential instruction across all major health content areas, including things such as nutrition, personal safety, emotional wellness, substance abuse prevention, and community health, many of the topics that we are required by law to talk about with students. Through the pilot, teachers appreciated the curriculum includes ready-to-use materials while still allowing for flexibility to adapt instruction to student needs and local contexts. Another strength is that the curriculum is updated annually, which helps ensure students are receiving current and research-based information. And finally, and perhaps I would argue most importantly, the curriculum itself, while comprehensive, does not require extensive training and planning time on part of teachers. As elementary teachers already have a number of new curriculums and content areas to plan for, a curriculum that reduces planning burden is key to the success of the overall program and teacher wellness. This slide just kind of briefly outlines the pilot process we went through this spring. So first, we identified the Great Body Shop as our ODE-approved curriculum option. Teachers were asked across grade bands and schools to pilot one or more lessons during spring to experience the curriculum firsthand with their students. Throughout the pilot, teachers documented both strengths and concerns, paying close attention to student engagement and usability. And at the end of the pilot, participating teachers met collaboratively with myself and Katie Garrett to review feedback and determine whether they would recommend adoption through a consensus process. Teachers ultimately agreed the curriculum met instructional needs and that the strengths of the curriculum outweighed the areas needing refinement or support. So I want to share a bit about what they had to say. I think it's really important that we center their voices. So teacher feedback during the pilot was both balanced and thoughtful. Teachers shared they were highly engaged, that students were highly engaged with many of the topics, especially lessons connected to safety, emotional wellness, social media influences, and real-world decision-making. Teachers noted that all of the topics were very relevant to the students. They appreciated the active learning opportunities and the flexibility to adapt lessons to classroom needs. At the same time, teachers identified areas for improvement, including pacing. It was very difficult for them to include this particular curriculum within their current structure because it was not something that was planned for ahead of time, given the building calendars. The need for clearer scaffolds, particularly in the area of language development. We had a DLI teacher and an English language development teacher pilot this, and they noted that they did need to put in some extra time and support to make sure that the language was scaffolded for students to be able to access the content. And they also noted that there is the need to prepare materials ahead of time, things like making copies, developing games, and some teachers across grade levels noted the need to really get creative with strategies to teach the material in a way that ensures that students are engaged. So it's not just the teacher talking about health, but students are really engaging in active learning. Importantly, however, none of the concerns raised were about standards alignment or inappropriate content. Most concerns focus on implementation supports and instructional usability, which we can address through professional learning and planning support. We also gathered feedback from families through a survey process. Families highlighted several strengths, including appreciation for body safety instruction, mental health content, nutrition education, and take-home materials that support family conversations. One of the great elements of this particular curriculum is there's magazines, and those magazines have like kind of family material, so it really creates a bridge between school and families. At the same time, we did hear some important concerns, questions from our families who filled out the survey. There were a total of 11 survey responses, so this is definitely not capturing the majority of our families across the district. But important to note that some families did express differing views about what is considered age appropriate, and some just disagreed with health topics being taught in schools. We also received questions about scheduling in terms of when would this be taught and what would it take away from. As a district, we recognize that families hold a wide range of perspectives and values. Our commitment moving forward is to ensure transparency, communication, and respect for family choice. We are also working alongside building administrators and teachers to talk about when this will be taught during the school day. The current plan is that we'll be teaching unit by unit, moving through science, social studies, and health, so it's not taking away from core content such as literacy and math. Is this you or do you want me to keep talking? Okay. Maybe you need a breather for a second. So as Dr. Ivy had mentioned, so although Oregon law requires our schools to provide comprehensive, medically accurate health and sexual education, parents do have the ability to opt out. So I think that is very important to note. And we actually took opt-outs a little different than our typical opt-outs, being that we actually decided to create grade-specific opt-outs for our health curriculum. And that way we could give parents the ability to preview our unit and topics and do opt-outs by the unit instead of doing a kind of blanket opt-out like we do in, say, like state testing.
So at the beginning of the school year, our administrators and teachers will be sending out these opt-out forms to each grade through the K through 5, relevant to their classroom. And parents can review those and opt out of one, multiple, however many of the units that they see fit. These opt-out forms will also be available. We have just updated and created a new health curriculum web landing page under our teaching and learning department that is now live. That web page also has an FAQ based off of some of the responses that we received in both the teacher and parent feedback section. Gives a little bit more context about why we are legally required to do this in accordance with like Aaron's Law. And it has those opt-out forms linked. I would also like to note that this isn't like a one and done. I know I am also a parent, and sometimes I miss a piece of paper that comes across my kid's backpack. So parents are able to do these opt-outs. Not if they missed it at the beginning of the year, they can do the opt-outs at the beginning of a unit. And we will be working with our teachers to kind of identify maybe some more of the hot button units to be able to give parents kind of a heads up and ability to re-review those units to see if they would still like their child to participate.
So I know you all have in front of you the beautiful work that Stephanie has been doing in terms of opt-out forms, but for those that don't, I wanted to share just a little bit about the high-level overview of how topics are distributed across grade levels. So what you can see is the younger grades focus really heavily on safety, hygiene, feelings, and healthy habits, while upper elementary grades are introduced topics like peer pressure, emotional health, decision-making, and puberty basics in age-appropriate ways. We anticipate teaching these units cyclically, as I mentioned, alongside science and social studies rather than a standalone daily course. Implementation will occur in phases to ensure that teachers feel prepared and supported. In fall of 2026, we will provide teacher training, planning support, and coaching. We talked with the pilot teachers about what they thought was actually going to be needed for the success of implementation. And so we will be working with those teachers to make sure, because now they've went through the curriculum, they've done the training, what is really needed. One of the things that they mentioned during the kind of review process was they just need time. So not necessarily having a trainer come in for a full day, as sometimes happens with new curriculums, but giving a brief overview and then giving teachers time to actually get into the units and plan alongside their colleagues. So that's something that we are taking very seriously as we think about what this training and implementation looks like. During winter of 26, we'll conduct a mid-year review to gather feedback from teachers, monitor implementation, figure out what's going well, what feels hard, so that we can really provide support, be it through training or coaching, scheduling. Are you having a hard time making copies? All of those, everything from technical needs to more adaptive needs. In spring of 2027, we'll review outcomes, identify any needed adjustments before year 2. In this phase approach, really it will allow us to continuously improve implementation rather than treating adoption as a one-time event. So, based on Oregon legal requirements, the state approval process, teacher pilot feedback, student experience during the pilot, and our implementation planning, I request that we officially adopt the Great Body Shop as the district's K through 5 elementary health curriculum beginning in the 26-27 school year. I truly believe this curriculum provides a standards-aligned and developmentally appropriate foundation while also supporting transparency and family choice. I do have on the next slide just a brief overview of next steps. We are hoping to get this approved this evening because we want to get all of our curriculum materials ordered so that we can provide teacher professional learning, communicate with families, make sure that all of our opt-out forms are in the hands of families so that we can launch full implementation in fall of 2026, so that when we do our Division 22 standards, we can say that we are officially in compliance. We do know that health education can generate strong perspectives and important conversations, and we are committed to continuing dialogue with families, staff, and the board throughout implementation.
Awesome, thank you. Comments from directors. Director Kramer.
More health, more better.
Thank you, Director Kramer. I will say one thing really quick, Director Kramer, is we do have one teacher who piloted this curriculum who actually has a background in health education. who is very, very passionate about health education. So I'm really excited to work alongside her because she definitely had a lot of ideas, ways to enhance the curriculum, and really wanted to make sure that one thing that we prepare teachers for is how to answer tough questions. Because like she mentioned, like if you don't have a background in health, that might not be an area that you feel confident in. And so we'll be working on really putting together kind of a set of teacher materials in the fall alongside those teachers that have passion and expertise in those areas so that we can make sure all of our teachers feel confident in really teaching this curriculum to their students.
I would think health would contribute to academic achievement, and PE, health are essential. So I fully support it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a comment. One of the things I appreciate about the work that seems to have gone into this is the acknowledgement of the different backgrounds of all the families that we have in the school, and that you have a comprehensive understanding of what the hot button topics might be, and you have a warning system in place to let families know. I think that's important for families. I know personally I would be interested in that also. And I guess I'd be interested in a general summary of some of that, just so as people might talk to me about it or complain that I am more educated about it.
Absolutely, and I just want to thank Director Bowen because she did a lot of research and put a lot of time into really thinking about how to put together an opt-out process that was transparent and really aligned with family needs. There's a lot of districts that have just a very basic opt-out process, and so Director Bowen just really, I think, put that into that pride into our work to make sure that we have something that's really going to meet the needs of our families. So thank you.
This may not be answerable tonight. It seems ODE typically will have multiple options, and I just find it interesting that for health they have a singular option. And I guess in my simple mind, like I would imagine that this isn't the only health curriculum out there. So I'm just wondering, do you have any insight into why there's only a singular option in health where we have multiple options for all the other curriculums?
I can make an educated guess.
I'll take that.
So prior to SB 141, there was a fee that publishers had to pay in order to be submitted on the list for ODE to be considered, for those that curriculum to be considered. So what that often left off was any sort of curriculum that wasn't from a big publisher. So we had a lot of open educational resource curriculums where a lot of health comes from. So a lot of really great health curriculum actually comes from community partners and from community health organizations who don't necessarily have the funds to be able to pay that vendor fee. The beautiful part is that with SB 141 being passed, those publisher fees have been removed. And so I imagine that health is going to be one particular area, but I think we'll see it across the board, that we're actually going to have a much wider array of choices because now we're not having that barrier of funds. And I'm excited to see actually what kind of the next round of health looks like because I know there's a lot of really incredible work out there that our community partners are doing that can actually be considered. So educated guess, I could be wrong, but that's what I would assume.
No, I think that makes sense. The barrier of entry could be prohibitive to some publishers to be able to get their materials out. So no, that makes sense. So no, that's all I have. So thank you. Very supportive of the curriculum.
I would assume that the health teacher is passionate about this program.
Yes.
I think we ought to trust her.
I agree.
To be forced to select a program that you don't have buy-in would be devastating. So let's just go with her gut.
Yes. Yeah, and I'll work really closely, as will Katie Garrett, with all of the teachers who did pilot this, again, to really make sure that, when we are training, I think oftentimes, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, oftentimes we bring in outside people to train our teachers, but the fact that we have a group of teachers now from all different elementary schools in the district who have piloted this, building their capacity to really be able to decide, what does this look like, what do you need, rather than someone from the outside coming in and saying, this is what we think you need. So they will definitely be on speed dial as we think about what implementation looks like.
Okay. Director O'Halloran, do you have any comments?
I did have one question. The area for growth, it's a curiosity. It said that fourth grade materials were very teacher-centered. Can you explain what that means.
Yeah, so the concern with the fourth grade materials was it's a lot of like, teacher says, and the teacher was talking at, right? Instead of engaging strategies where students were actually, like one of the third grade teachers mentioned that there was an activity where they had to go outside on the track and they were using that to, I don't know exactly what the lesson was, but they were doing something, they were acting, it was kinesthetic. And so in the fourth grade curriculum, the lessons that these teachers actually piloted, which were not all of them, it felt very teacher-centered. And so I think the benefit of having this phased approach to implementation is that instead of teaching the curriculum, we're teaching how do you actually put this into practice. We're also bringing back PLCs, professional learning communities, next year, which will allow teachers time to actually work with their colleagues, right? And so working with colleagues to say, hey, what do you want to try? Is there a cool activity we can do? Hey, Dry Hollow, have you tried something? Chenoweth, have you tried something? So since we're using the same curriculum across the district, even though the curriculum itself might be more teacher-centered, really leaning on that teacher expertise to say, how can we make this fun and engaging? So it's, yeah, I think it's an exciting opportunity for our teachers to be able to get creative with their teaching, bring joy in.
Director Kelly, do you have any comments? That's a good point. Oh, there she is.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have anything additional. I think it was David that was commenting on his appreciation for the extra work around transparency and choice. And I will just echo that. I really appreciate that as well for our families.
Thank you, Director Kelly.
Yeah. I just have one last question, and again, also appreciate all the transparency and the choice and putting on the website, all the communication is there. Is this a 7-year adoption, right? A 7-year curriculum adoption cycle we're rolling into?
That's a requirement. So a requirement from the state is that 7 years. I mean, we can also decide that we want to do something different sooner. It's usually more cost effective to have the same curriculum for 7 years.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Well, with no further questions, do we have a motion to adopt this curriculum?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to adopt the curriculum. I make a motion to adopt the Great Body Shop curriculum K through 5.
Director Kramer seconds the motion to accept the Great Body Shop K through 5 curriculum. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Okay, your curriculum is approved. Thank you for all the work to get it there.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to action item number 4, our Sodexo Food Service Management Contract Extension. I think that's, Mr. Peterson will help us with that.
Yeah, so we have a contract with Sodexo to manage our food service operations. Quick word about nutrition services. It's basically a small business inside the school district. Gets revenue primarily from federal and state meal reimbursements and a little bit from meal sales. Uses that money to pay for food, labor, and supplies, and it is self-sustaining over time without support from the general fund. So under the terms of our contract, we have a 5-year contract. Because of ODE rules, we have to renew that contract every year, and it has to be approved by ODE and the board. So this is our first renewal. We will be able to renew 3 more times, and after that we'll have to go through a formal procurement process.
Questions or motions?
Yeah, I guess a good question to ask would be, are we happy with the services being provided?
We are. Sodexo provides a lot of logistical support. They have tremendous purchasing power that saves us a lot of money. They also have a lot of support for our in-district supervisor, providing recipes and constant change-ups to recipes and helping with the appearance of the cafeteria, things like that.
So I take your recommendation is to extend the contract?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I make a motion to approve. I move to approve the extension of the FSMC contract with Sodexo America LLC for the period beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027.
Director Kramer seconds the motion to approve the extension of the FSMC contract with Sodexo America LLC for the period beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Thank you, Dan. Oh, Director Kelly, do you have a vote? There she is. That's a thumbs up. Thank you, Director Kelly. Okay. So action item number 5 now is to approve resolution 262612, transferring appropriations. Again, that is Dan.
Yeah, this is really straightforward. We're just moving $50,000 from support services to instruction to keep us within our spending authority. We haven't exceeded that yet, but if we don't move some funds around in the budget, then we will before the end of the school year.
Moving it out of support services into instruction? Which way direction are we going?
I think it's from support services to instruction, is that right?
Okay. Any questions about this? Do I have a motion then?
Yeah, I'll move to approve resolution 2626-12, transferring appropriations within the high school success fund, Fund 252 for fiscal year 2026.
I'll second it.
Okay, seconded the resolution transferring appropriations within the high school success fund for the fiscal year 26. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. And so then, excuse me. Our next action item is to
All right, I'll read it. Our next action item is to accept David Jones in Zone 3's written resignation and declare Zone 3 vacant. So as everyone knows, Director Jones has resigned, and we need to declare this vacant. Do we have any discussion? Anyone want to make a motion?
We have 20 days. We are required to, by our policy, to advertise this opening for 20 days and then do the interviews at the next regular board meeting after that. So we are hopeful and have talked to staff about being prepared to start that 20 days tomorrow, issuing all the invitations to apply, and that period then should wrap up in time before the next regular board meeting. And we are very hopeful to have candidates that we can interview at the June meeting and seat so that new board member could participate in our summer trainings and board retreat, and we feel like that would be really good timing. So we're very hopeful to find a Zone 3 replacement. We will need a motion to accept that timeline. Do we have any discussion about that?
That was my question in terms of just did we have enough time between this meeting and our June meeting, because it does seem very tight.
Yeah.
So starting tomorrow, what does that put our 20-day window ending?
If we open the application window tomorrow, 20 days will wrap up on June 18th, which would then give us time to give the applications to the board to review ahead of time, prepare the questions, notify the applicants of the process, etc.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Just right
The
before.
board meeting in June is on the 25th, so the window would close a week before the June 25th board meeting.
Okay, I make a motion to accept David Jones' written resignation and open the window for applications starting tomorrow.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, so we have a second on the accepting the resignation of David Jones and opening the window for advertising 20 days as of tomorrow. Any discussion? All in favor say?
Aye.
Aye. Kelly? Katie Kelly?
Aye.
I think that's an aye. Okay. And any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Recommend good Zone 3 candidates. There it is, look at that. Zone 3 is west of the Dalles. That's before you go up and over to Mosher, and it appears to be before you get, towards the commercial and downtown areas.
Walnut Street, from Chenoweth to Walnut Street.
Where?
Chenoweth to Walnut Street.
Walnut, very good. Okay, plenty of residential in there. If you know somebody, recommend them, please. Okay, now we're moving on to reports, starting with the superintendent's report. Dr. Bernal?
Thank you. I have a brief report tonight. We are very busy right now on all fronts, wrapping up another school year. We have a lot to celebrate, and we have a lot to reflect on with the end of the school year. So while we're busy with all the end of year activities and celebrations, we're simultaneously reflecting and already preparing for next school year, if you can believe it. Part of that preparation includes tracking SB 141, the accountability bill that continues to move through the rulemaking process. The state metrics have been set and adopted, and the next step is that each school district will be going through the goal setting process, setting their district growth targets for each school year. We are moving from 5 longitudinal performance growth targets to 8. They've dropped the L, and they're just now called PGTs, performance growth targets. Again, there are 8 K2 regular attenders, K12 regular attenders, 3rd grade reading proficiency, 8th grade math, 9th grade on track, 4-year graduation rates, 5-year completion rates, and then school districts will adopt 1 local measurement. There are, I believe, 5 to choose from. We received the information yesterday on the process that we will be utilizing in setting those targets. It is meant to be a collaborative process with ODE, but really your team is working independently on setting those growth targets, and then technical assistance is available from ODE should we need it in setting our targets. We need to have our growth targets set and submitted no later than August 31st. Once we have our growth targets set, we will share those with the board and broadly with our students, staff, families, and community. Along with the accountability work and ahead of the long legislative session that's going to be here before we know it, superintendents across Oregon have been asked to participate in a variety of different work groups so that we can be prepared for the long legislative session and the things that we want to advocate for. I'm participating in the accountability work group, and we've already met for 1 session, and we will continue to meet throughout the summer as we identify our priorities ahead of the long legislative session. Lastly, I just want to thank Raphael and Nancy for all of your work as our outgoing student representatives. I'm so proud of both of you, and I'm so excited for your future and what you have ahead of you. Please come back and visit. Don't be a stranger. Let me know how you're doing every once in a while. I'm excited to hand you your diplomas on graduation day, so congratulations. That's it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bernal. Chief Financial Officer's report. Mr. Peterson.
Yeah, so before I hit the financials, I wanted to update you on the TANs note. Those notes sold last week. There was a lot of interest, so we sold at a slight premium of 25 basis points. So it'll cost us a little bit less to borrow that money than we initially anticipated. Just so you know, the funds, we are required to hold them in a separate bank account. It's another LGIP account that we'll earn interest on until we use the funds. If we do need to use them, it will likely be to cover payroll in September before our taxes start rolling in.
Right. Nobody offered me any to buy. I don't know why.
Me either.
Okay. Well, what a miss. Any highlights in the revenue status report that you would like to point out for us?
Yeah, revenue. So just looking at the general fund, we had received 88% of our expected revenue as of the end of April. It's not reflected in this report, but we did get our last state school fund payment of the year, which included a $980,000 positive May adjustment, so that's really good news for us. It does look like we'll come up short overall on revenue for the year. A lot of that is due to receiving less in property taxes than we budgeted for, which will lead to another positive May adjustment next year. So we can look forward to that. Any more about the revenue, or do you want to move on to expenditures?
We can move on to expenditures unless any other directors have questions. Okay.
So I added a new column to this report. I started, a few months ago, at the very bottom of the report, I started including a total value, including encumbrances for all the funds. I decided that it would probably be better to get a little bit more granular with that and break that out. So the final column on this report now includes the encumbrances. And unless you tell me not to, I'll keep doing that because I think it's useful information to have. Thumbs up from at least one board member. Cool. So yeah, just looking at the general fund there, like the difference between the percent expended and the percent expended versus encumbered is huge. 68.71% versus 98%. If you look at the top three items in the general fund, you'll see that even though we've only spent, 70% of the money, close to 100% of it is either spent or encumbered. So I think that's good information to have. And then if you go all the way down to the bottom of the report, I'm still including, so I have the number for the period and then the number for the prior period. And I've kind of been watching that. It tends to tick up by about 1% each month, mostly due to expenses that we incur that were not encumbered. So I expect that trend to continue for the rest of the year. We'll probably end up about 88, 89% expended on our budget.
Does that mean we came in about 10% under budget?
Well, yes, but we'll do something similar on the revenue, so. And then moving on to the balance sheet. I always point to the same place every time, that top right number. That's our cash and investments. Shows that we're in a pretty good cash position. As of the end of April, we had about $11.7 million in the bank, which is actually up about $2 million from last month, mostly due to some grant claiming. So we're still in a pretty healthy cash position. Another number, however, that's not so good, well, I mean, it is what it is. On the cash and investments line, if you look at the debt service funds number, those are funds that we set aside to pay our debts every year, and most of those come due in June. So that money will be going out before the end of the year.
What are our debts?
What debts? So that includes our PERS bonds. We have a full faith and credit obligation that was used to build the modulars at Chenoweth and do some other improvements way back when. And we have some bus loans that we're paying off. Each of those has a separate fund, 303, 304, 305.
Terrific, okay.
And then the enrollment numbers, we would love to see these just stay flat all year long, but they just drop, and we typically end up with about 97% of the kids that we start with, and we're tracking that trend pretty well. I did want to point out there was a question earlier about LTCT, and those numbers are included. If you look at the second to last column here, you'll see our numbers by month for the year. And other numbers there, most of the schools drop as the year goes on, especially the high school where we start getting early graduations. We did have slight increases at Innovations Virtual. Again, that's something that we see as the year goes on. And it looks like, I think it was Dry Hollow picked up a couple kids too. Oh, so did Colonel Wright, yeah.
I think, the numbers in the red or at the end are, add up to the difference, nearly 100. And so much of that is in May and in the spring for the high school. The other schools are fairly steady. Okay, makes sense. And the attendance graph. And the attendance graph were below 24-25. There you go. And all the numbers at the top are, those colors are pre-COVID colors. Okay.
Should I just make those numbers go away next year?
You can drop off one a year, can't you? You should have some historic memories.
Yeah, Dr. Ball just shared with me that we have had about 30 kids graduate early.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, you can see in the high school numbers in the spring it drops down. And that's good. That means they graduated. That's a good thing, and they're moving on. Any questions for Mr. Peterson? Very good then. Thank you, sir, for keeping us on track. And that's part of our budget duties during the year as directors. Okay, Board Attorney report. Jason?
I have no report tonight.
Okay, thank you for being here. Item number 12 is comments from the audience about non-agenda items. And we have one written, and then we have 3 sign-ups. Thank you for being so patient for this. It always takes a long time. I would like to hear from you. We would, but first let me tell you a few things. We will hear your public comments. We are committed to the public comment process and will consider all public comments seriously. Public comments for virtual meeting, well, we're not doing virtual. Anyone wishing to sign up, as you did, can speak during this time. But let me note some of the ground rules. A person speaking during the designated portion of the agenda for public comment may offer objective criticism of district operations and programs. The board will not hear comments regarding any individual staff members, so please don't name names. And the board, that's a personnel issue, and the board chair will direct the visitor to the procedures in the board policy KL, complaints for consideration of a legitimate complaint involving a staff member. If you have a legitimate complaint involving a staff member, there is a process to follow. A commendation involving a staff member should be sent to the superintendent, who will forward it to the employee, the supervisor, and the board. The board requests a public comment, add information or a perspective that has not already been mentioned previously, and that the patron refrains from repeating a similar point. We're also, part of the policy is that you're given about 3 minutes to share your comments. So we can start.
First on the list, Mr. Jay Chrisman.
Hello. My name is Jay Chrisman. I'm here to give testimony on behalf of the DLI program at Chenoweth. I recognize some of you. Last time I was here, I was very upset. I get up at like 3:30 in the morning and don't get home until about 6, so I came straight here. I had a pre-K student going into kindergarten, and that was about that time where there was a lot of stories going around about things happening at some of the schools. We were here until about midnight. That's about the time that I got my testimony out. I was very heated. I'm still a little embarrassed about it. But now my family has found our happy place at Chenoweth. My son is a first grader in the DLI program, soon going into the second grade. We chose that program because we got a lot of good feedback from parents that were already involved in that program. We entered into the lottery, and we were actually the first on the wait list, and we were lucky enough to get a spot when somebody dropped out. Now I've heard that the wait list is so long that there is a second kindergarten class. And that's awesome, because from all the research that I did, it's a huge benefit to our students. Mentally, economically, there's a lot of benefit to having a second language. It's amazing. And I'm surprised that we don't do it just across the board, because we should. But I would also like to just give a little bit of personal reference to it. A lot of the people that want to say bad things about DLI have concerns about how being immersed in the language slows them down. They potentially don't pick up as much in the classroom as they should. I can tell you that is absolutely not true. My son is he's a first grader, and I've seen homework that is like pre-algebra, and he's very good at it. And he is also reading books back to me that are in the 3rd to 5th grade level. The textile levels are in the 600 to 800s for the books that he's actually reading to me. And there's a book that we share at bedtime that is in the 900 level, and I'm usually pretty tired, so I nod off sometimes while I'm reading to him. And he will actually point to me on the page and say, "You're right there." The nod, nudge, nudge, right there. So he's following along. He's reading a 900 textile level book. And that's amazing for a first grader, because that's between a 5th and 9th grade reading level, if you're not familiar with the textile levels. And just like out in public, he will actually engage in conversation with people that speak Spanish. We are absolutely not a Spanish family. My wife knows a tiny bit from college. I know like 2 sentences I learned in high school. I won't repeat them. My son, on the other hand, helped me negotiate prices at a yard sale last year. And last Christmas, responded to an off-color joke that a store employee was telling. At which point she looked at me with very large eyes and said, "Your son's Spanish is very good." So I just I wanted to let you know that I really appreciate you guys funding that program, and I hope that you give them more opportunities to grow.
Jay, thank you very much for the stories about your son and your family and your passion for the program. Appreciate it.
Can I add just a couple more points just to piggyback on some other things that we talked about tonight? The welding, metal fabrication, and manufacturing program that they have at the college is absolutely amazing, and it's a shame that we don't have more high school students that are engaged in that. I noticed that was one of the kind of the lower metrics. And then also, I just wanted to bring your attention, if you haven't already talked about it, I heard I-Ready mentioned several times, and there is some controversy behind that about potentially they've been accused of some data collection and selling that information to third parties. So if you're not familiar with that, you might look it up. I am not versed in it very much. I might be wrong about all of it, but I encourage you all to look into it.
Thank you, Jay, very much. Terrific.
All right, next on the list, Mr. Omar Perez.
Good evening, everyone. I want to take a moment to speak about something that has made a tremendous difference in my children's lives, the dual language program at their elementary school. As a Hispanic family, language has always been deeply connected to our culture, our traditions, and our identity. Like many parents, I want my children to grow up proud of where they come from while also having every opportunity to succeed academically and socially in this country. And this program has given them exactly that. Before joining the dual language program, my children understood Spanish at home, but they were more hesitant to speaking it outside of our family. At the same time, like many young children, they were still developing strong English skills in school. What has been incredible to watch is how this program has helped them grow in both languages at the same time. Today, they are able to communicate fluently in English and Spanish with confidence. They can speak to teachers, classmates, and friends in English, while also having meaningful conversations with grandparents, relatives, and members of our community in Spanish. That connection is priceless. It has strength not only in communication skills, but also their sense of identity and pride in their heritage. The dual language program has done more than teach them vocabulary and grammar. It has taught my children confidence and respect for different cultures. They are learning that being bilingual is not a limitation, it is a strength. In today's world, knowing more than one language opens doors academically, professionally, and personally. I have also seen how the program creates an environment of inclusion and understanding among students from different backgrounds. Children learn from one another, support each other, and celebrate the value of diversity from a very young age. This is truly special. As a parent, there's nothing more rewarding than seeing your children thrive while staying connected to their roots. I am incredibly grateful to the teachers, staff, and everyone who supports this program, because the impact goes far beyond the classroom. This program is helping shape confident, compassionate, bilingual students who will carry these skills and experiences with them for the rest of their lives. I truly believe in this. My children are stronger because of this program. Thank you all.
Thank you, Omar. Appreciate that you have come up.
All right, next on the list, Ms. Beatrice Morales.
So my name is Beatrice Morales. I also have a daughter in the dual language program. She's in first grade, and so I love the program. It's great, and she's learned a lot. She knows how to read Spanish. She knows how to read English. Yesterday, it was great. I said, go bring me a book so you can read to me, and she brought a Spanish book. And I said, okay, great. Can you read it to me? She started interpreting it, translating it. So I was kind of like, are you reading that, or are you translating it to English? And so that's what she was doing. And it's awesome to see that in a first grader, where she's reading something, she comprehends it, and she's able to change that into a different language. It's great. So I love the program. I think it's great. The teachers are so prepared to teach. They share and they're the culture. They're humble. If you have not had the opportunity to go into a classroom during the day, I really recommend you do. I've gone a few times, and the atmosphere is great. All the kiddos are thankful that you're there. And I have not seen that in other classrooms, where you're there, they are attentive to who's there, they're respectful. And so I see that these classrooms are getting our kiddos to be humble and to learn and to be able to have kind of like the equity, the inclusion, and just the belonging that they've learned, the teachers have taught them. So the curriculum is great. My daughter's also doing like math, where it's like, oh wow, first grade, is that normal? So I really feel like all the schools should have an opportunity to have a class like this. They mentioned that, yes, there's waiting lists, and there's the transportation, the bus, but I feel like if we could have more funding for this program,
to have classes, or maybe even also like incorporating these, like at least one class for all of the other schools to kind of try it out. I think that'd be great. So I really appreciate it, and I'm so happy that my kiddos are able to attend and be part of the program, because it's kind of part of all of our culture. And it's for when I was growing up, I am a Spanish learner as well. When I went into schools, English was my second language, so it was a little harder for me. But it's interesting, like how these kiddos are grasping the language, and it's great. Beatrice, thank you for taking the time, coming, and sharing your experience. Appreciate it very much. We additionally received written comment. I'll read that. It is from Allison Hoffman. She writes, I am writing as both family medicine physician serving our community and as the parent of children enrolled in the integrated dual language program. I strongly encourage the board to continue supporting and investing in this program because of the significant educational, social, and long-term community benefits it provides. As a physician who has lived and worked in this rural community for a decade, I have seen firsthand how educational opportunities directly affect a community's ability to recruit and retain professionals. One of the greatest challenges rural communities face is a brain drain. Families leaving in search of stronger educational options for their children. This has had a real impact on our local healthcare system and our clinic's ability to recruit physicians and advanced practice providers. Many highly qualified professionals carefully consider school quality and educational opportunities when deciding where to practice and raise their families. The integrated dual language program is exactly the type of innovative, high-quality educational opportunity that helps communities like ours remain vibrant and competitive. Research consistently demonstrates the cognitive, academic, cultural, and economic advantages of bilingual education. Students in dual language programs often develop stronger problem-solving skills, greater cultural competence, and long-term academic benefits that prepare them well for the future. I can also speak personally to the value of this program. As a mother, my family has made the decision to keep our children's education local, specifically because of the success and benefits of the dual language program. Without this opportunity, we may have felt compelled to look elsewhere for schooling options. Instead, the program has strengthened our commitment to this community and reinforced our decision to continue building our lives and careers here. Supporting this program is not simply an investment in language learning, it is an investment in student success, family retention, workforce recruitment, and the long-term health and sustainability of our rural community. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration and for your continued dedication to our students and families. Thank you, everybody. Very much appreciate your perspectives and that you were here and shared them with us. At this point now we move to 13. This is the board's informational only somewhat discussion. Some of the things that we are doing, we participated in the district budget committee and did pass it on the third meeting in May. We are preparing for our annual board retreat in the summer, which is tentatively scheduled in July. Many of us are registered for the OSBA Summer Conference. There are two choices for that, and planning on attending graduations. June, we will adopt the budget, appoint a new Zone 3, and looks like we're going to appoint new student representatives. And then in July, we will attend summer conferences and have we already said that. On our member reports, Chair Hagee and Director Apprecio attended the CGESD Budget Committee meeting, and we attended that. Do you have any comments, Jose? Sure. Oh, I'm sorry. We passed it. We helped, as Budget Committee members, we helped pass the CGESD budget. Director Pauline. Community Outreach Committee.
Yeah, I attended the community outreach meeting this last week. I'm looking for my notes, but I'm probably going to have to go off memory. Yeah, some of the important things that came out of there was we had the presentation from the community college on their program. It was in a lot more detail, a lot of opportunity there. Advanced manufacturing, can't emphasize that enough. It's a fantastic opportunity. Then around the city, there was discussion on the water situation. Sorry, I don't have my notes open, but a lot of work for that. I advocated that they ensure that we have good, clean drinking water for the 2,800 people that are inside the district, and then discuss some of the challenges and successes that we've had within the district in the last since the last time we met. If there's any questions, here's my discussion.
Thank you. Jose.
So, busy time of year, as many have mentioned. Starting with the scholarship committee, I was able to attend the scholarship night in which over $270,000 worth of local scholarships were given. I was honored with presenting 5 different scholarships that night. And it was such a great evening to see just the support that the community has for our graduating Riverhawks. As Chair Hagee mentioned, we attended the Columbia Gorge GSD Budget Committee, so that was a singular meeting, and then we, as a budget committee, approved the recommendation that evening. And then lastly, I also had a OSBA Legislative Policy Committee. Only able to partially attend it. That was one of the same evenings we had our own budget committee. So I missed the bulk of the presentation, but I did join in at the end of it to be able to give some feedback. One of the things I think most of us, heard pretty loud and clear from CFO Peterson, when you look at our budget, right, a significant slice of that pie is PERS at 12.5%. And while there was some comfort in knowing that we're not alone when talking to other folks from across the state, it's still a staggering number when you think about our budget and that it represents that 12.5%. So it was a great conversation, and then it's essentially gearing ourselves up for the upcoming long session in 27.
Terrific. Thank you. Hey, I would like to point out that Director O'Halloran needs to be added to the member reports. So do you have anything to report, Director O'Halloran? Thank you. I would like to bring up the D21 Education Foundation. Dave Jones served on that as a, and I would love to have a volunteer to fill that. And do you know when the meetings are, Dr. Bernal? Share that.
They actually just had their last meeting of this year. They will not pick up again until September.
Okay. And was that you volunteering, Director Kramer? Director Kramer would like to volunteer to replace Dave Jones on the D21 Education Foundation. Great. That's terrific. Thank you for volunteering for that.
I have a quick alibi. The community outreach team wanted to make sure that to reach out to them for any assistance or help on anything. So, yeah.
Great to know. Community leaders are there for us. Director Kelly, do you have anything to add?
I don't have anything to add, thank you. I hope everybody travels home safely tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I don't even know if we're on auxiliary power right now, but it's kind of interesting. Okay, well that concludes our board meeting. Do you want to, Director Kramer, do you want to ask your question?
My name is Kevin Kramer. I was a teacher for 36 years, coaching for 43. My wife is a teacher at Chenoweth Elementary School for 34 years. So between us, we have 70 years in the district. When I'm looking at the test scores for reading and literacy, we have 1,035 students below grade level. 564 of those students are 2 or more grade levels below. And I guess where I'm going with this is I have a granddaughter. She is bilingual. Kenya Sarabia Kramer gave us our first granddaughter. She is now going to gift us a grandson in December. So we'll have 2. The dual language immersion program is huge, I think, in a lot of ways. I wanted to reallocate some funding in their last budget meeting, but it kind of got shot down before I could even finish. So I was a little disappointed at that. We have...
Kevin, I'd like to point out that it
Now,
is not the
wait a
job
minute.
of the board.
Wait a minute.
And a budget, no, you need to understand.
I understand
It's not the
that.
job of the board in a budget process to reallocate or move programs or change programs.
I
That's not
understand.
our role.
No, Betsy, I understand it. However, we're talking 1,035 students that can't read, essentially. 564 that are 2 or more grade levels below. And I don't know these the English learners, the ELL students, they're 93% below grade level, according to my statistics in this. 40% of them are 3 or more grade levels below. I want to know, my whole thing is class size. And as long as I've been teaching, teachers that are in the upper grades can handle bigger classes if they get what they need in the lower grades. You're looking at Washington State across the river. They put a cap on their classrooms, 15 to 16 per class. Their ELL students, their Hispanic students are scoring 40% proficiency in 2018. It went down a little bit in 2018 because of COVID. Went around 34, 38%. Same grade levels. What do we do? We need to address this and get this fixed. Mentors are huge. Smaller classrooms, and I'm not talking 15, I'm talking maybe 20, 21. It's huge. You can have an ESP, an educational assistant in there working. The class can be divided into 10, and you can work that way. I think there's 4 instructional aides in each. Am I correct? How many instructional aides are in each school?
Chair, point of order. This section specifically is for reports, not discussion and new topics. It's also out of alignment with our board operating agreement, where we've all agreed that we're avoiding adding unanticipated topics that are not publicized to the community ahead of time.
Well,
I agree. I'm not sure what the next move in point of order is, but I agree that is true. And I
well,
want to
we can talk
accept
about it now, or I'm going to go on a coffee break with
Point of order.
Will. So it's your choice. What do you want?
So, but Director Kramer, we spent time with the superintendent this week talking about the program for literacy, but I don't know, I'm not hearing that you have
training that we were
involved
talking
that. So
about.
I will ask you, what is your point tonight?
My point tonight is we've got to look at smaller classes.
Okay.
K through 3.
Point taken. Thank you.
Okay. I guess I'll be on the L-Winch.
Okay.